Conclusion. Planet Earth has psychology and behavior and stimulation and the reward for being social now from the hard work of those professors who have read Karl Marx and Frantz Fanon and Edward Said and required what Noam Chomsky says makes the word sound like Barack Obama's speech and Joe Biden's mouth. Now, Nelson Mandela, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Gandhi, didn't hand out stimulation and reward. Weren't the Black Panthers of the old riots and struggle for the flowers and the drugs now? They respected God and the word of Jesus and Buddha and Allah and Krishna. And now the masses and the crowds are preparing for His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the psychology he wrote about in his book to fix the tragedy, death and the dying of the elderly and the young and the barely old enough to walk now. But see a word called Om and begin observing, listening, trying to find out who's the freaking idiot who doesn't respect the quiet code and the silent requirement put in place by those victorious and wise and intelligent leaders and elders of the new novelty. Eliminating repetition and choosing confusion, misdirection, and no privacy. Now, you say the word Antifa and then the words Black Lives Matter out loud and not be a part of the Facebook group and the protesters who are breaking the windows of the businesses they denounce. Then the brain, body, and mind have to face the fear and see the skin and the eyes and the rotting teeth of those who they say suffer in poverty and had to hit that crack pipe and smoke that meth to get some weed finally legalized now. And the last paradox of the whole system with process is recycled with better dialect and no more of those stupid and dumb accents from Mississippi or Alabama. Unless they are from Louisiana and New Orleans, are the words on their hat now. Doctors and staff and nurses and surgeons, they're already following the standards. They're in a quiet hospital with patients who are in need of blood and care for the coronavirus they acquired during a pandemic. And are already adjusted to the conditions required for safe passage to not starve and die in the middle of a smart, technologically advanced civilization and city founded as Seattle and Capitol Hill and written in books as Washington State. Now, the whole explanation has so much terror involved from the perspective of neuroscience and neurology, and how much availability for these resources now in the world, on the planet Earth, floating in outer space. And how much time has been spent and wasted destroying and confusing the child who thinks and has been told to have thoughts about climate change. And those textbooks they got from the shelves of the dusty, moldy library bin when they studied their political science and their philosophy and their psychology and their ideology and their history classes. To make enough dollars and cents to provide to the business of Google and Microsoft and Facebook and Twitter to have a weapon for their war and conflict now. With the requirement of paying for their housing, their SNAP EBT card, and all of the medical care they ever need now. Those who are willing to follow the social rules and receive the reward, reduced from freedom and the speech involved in its discussion now, in the discussion of the process and the system, where men are not prevented from saying they are not neutral and women are not told they're ugly for not saying they're a feminist. And a person doesn't sit in fear making a video for Johns Hopkins University. And MIT now. Afraid the bully will begin their rage. And their friend and their buddy and their group will stop the process of attending a university to cure cancer and treat pediatric patients in clinics now. Sick to my stomach from the hundreds of pictures with babies in their hands in the air, afraid of those who observe their finger in gravity now.